All right, here we are. And excuse me for taking a bit of time. That's perfect timing because it's 111. So there's that 111. I always love when the numbers show up. And it's time for this conversation because, in this sense, excuse me, I'm making sure it started on Instagram. It's time for this conversation because it's more than just what we have as the title, Nolan Wells, Good versus Evil, Part 3. How do you see this playing out? And we'll get through all those different layers of it. Yet it's time for us to recognize it's good versus evil. And some of that looks like they're hiding this evil in racism. Evil is hiding in racism. And it's time for it to be exposed. So I will continue to bring these amazing guys that are here into conversations that are tough for people to have, because I'm okay staying at peace inside, even if I get a little fiery. Like that's real for me. And so I think it's important for us to have these conversations so that people can begin to see a shift in themselves, that actually makes a shift out into the world, because we are truly seeing what's going on in here. That's why I don't usually see most of this stuff, but I stay plugged in because I go reach for it. I go look for where's this stuff happening, especially when we're talking about this young man, Nolan Wells. I can only imagine how his parents feel, because my boys are here and my daughter. Like they've made it to this point. You know, my son's 31, the other one's 27, my daughter's 25. And it's big. It's big. And I think it's imperative that as we look at this good versus evil, and we continue in this space, and know that the algorithm doesn't hit the same, because one for sure, the algorithm, people aren't investing in this space yet. And so for me, that's it. Like this is part of my ministry. This is part of my calling, to make sure that we learn how to come together and elevate as one. And so I'm excited for this conversation, excited to be able to have a conversation like this with guys of all different hues. This is human design, human understanding. This is how we design our lives. All of us coming together and getting the people that are willing to let the light shine through them and elevate the world. So let's get started. Here we go.
When I am asked to speak, I embrace the calling. It is my responsibility to make sure to leave everyone inspired to elevate in all aspects of life. In the 26 states and 10 countries, it has been my energy that is infectious and magical. The impact elevates everyone to new heights. It's time to conquer our challenges. Relationships across the board, communication gaps, fear of the unknown, limited beliefs, and all that holds us hostage in life. The path to power is peace, and peace is the power to live by. The unique perspective that I bring to the table inspires all, professionals, executives, students, coaches, and athletes, to reach their highest potential. That is why I, Sid McNary, am known as the secret weapon. Whether it is tackling mental health issues, success in business, or winning at life, every moment counts. Get ready to receive the tools to win. It's time to win at everything. Let's connect today. Peace.
Hello, my name is Miles. Discover a powerful journey of resilience, purpose, and spiritual growth in the autobiography of a human by Sid McNary. In this compelling autobiography, McNary shares the personal challenges and triumphs that shaped his path to success, while offering insight for professionals seeking deeper meaning and balance in their own lives. Drawing from his experiences growing up Catholic, participating in indigenous vision quests, and studying the Buddhist path, he reveals how diverse spiritual traditions ultimately guide us toward toward the same destination, connection with the Creator and our highest selves. Through practices such as meditation, yoga, and spirit medicine, McNary demonstrates how life's victories and hardships can become opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and lasting peace. The autobiography of a human is more than a memoir. It is an inspiring reflection for professionals striving to align purpose, personal development, and inner clarity. Available now on Amazon, this transformative story invites readers to reflect, grow, and step confidently onto their own path of self-discovery and peace.
As we move into this conversation, I want to take just a quick moment to pause for a moment in my own space. I had somebody that poured into my life, and the head coach of Northern Illinois University when I was there, Joe Novak, just learned that he recently passed. And so to all the guys that are tuning in, I know your hearts are there with Joe and his family and Carol and the boys and all their grandchildren and all of that. You're going to miss one of the great ones. So grateful. Thank you, Coach, for pouring into my life and being somebody that put people together of all hues together in one room. And as Joe said, I remember this famous speech, at least it was famous for me and famous for the guys because we won and started rolling from there. But our players used to wear black socks whenever we had on different clothing. And Joe was adamant, nope, men, we will not. And now we put on black socks and we started winning. But he said, we're wearing white and we will look uniform. So there are no black socks with white pants. And they were pissed. And we went and we went out and practiced and warmed up for the game. And it was a poor warm up. Joe came in and he was pissed. Don't tell me that socks mean anything to you. That's not why we won. And then right before he put his foot up on the bench, pulled up his pants, and he said, I got them black socks on for you. And they exploded. And we went and wore out Eastern Michigan. And I always remember Joe, just a phenomenal person. So let's go ahead and get these phenomenal guys up. Kevin, just so you know, your screen isn't working, but I'll bring you up and make sure you undo your camera. Let me see if I can help in any way. Nope. As soon as I see your face on it, I'll bring you up just so everyone doesn't have to look at that blank screen. But welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, I love that we've gone from Clubhouse years ago. Dr. Vibe and I don't even remember whenever Clubhouse started, 2021, where we had a men's group that fizzled. And then here we are now where we get to see each other and have this conversation and more people come into it. And it's really something growing on my heart. Next week will be 10 meetings with 2,000 guys in the name of a men's circle. And I've taken it on and said, okay, 6 a.m. every Wednesday, I will lead a meeting for everybody. So grateful to be here with you all in that way. And yeah, so here we are. Let's get into it. How's everybody doing? There's my man, Kevin. That's what's up. What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, they may have all heard your voice on Clubhouse, especially probably Tony. But everybody meet Kevin. Kevin is a phenomenal person up in Philly and is doing a lot of things with Kevin's and Sons, his production company. And so wanted to get him on because he's been on this networking call with me and just a great guy. And he's helping me write another variation of Black Country. So I had to bring him in. And so Kevin, anything you want to say, go ahead. And
no, I just want to say, send my condolences to the family of a coach, to the players that have passed through the system, to you and your family. And, if, you have anything positive about Coach, just remember the positive. The negative is just part of the magic of being who the man you are. The positive is the part of the man that he made you the man. So take that with you. And that's pretty much it. I do want to let you know, I got a hard stop because I got wife duties today. So I may have to skip out early.
All right, all right. Well, sometimes it's part of the man duties, as everybody in here knows, and so appreciate it. And how you guys doing today?
Great,
Doing
great, and welcome,
outstanding.
welcome, Kevin.
All good, all good. Good to meet you, Kevin. We won't hold it against you that you're an Eagles fan.
I'm actually not an Eagles fan. I live in Philadelphia. I'm a Browns fan, so you can hold that against me. But I've just become a 76ers fan because I'm a LeBron's fan. So I'm true blue to Cleveland.
Nice.
Right on, right on. You and my dad. My dad has been a Browns fan my whole life. The Browns and the Dodgers, because they gave the first person of color a shot.
Yeah, it's
So I
hard being a
grew up
Browns
in that.
fan. I will tell you, it's hard being a Browns fan.
Yeah, I've watched
It
you
was
all
hard
time.
last year to keep my mouth shut because I coached the coaches. I trained the coach's brother, and I had to keep my mouth shut during this season.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, we're talking about this conversation that Nolan Wells is where we are. We've gone through 3 days. This will be the third day of talking about good versus evil. And I think it has to continue to be a conversation because we have evil hiding in many ways. We talked about in the first one. Evil is hiding in all the isms. If you're putting a hand on a woman, if you're holding down women in the name of sex, all those different things, if you're dividing racially, if you're bringing in anything that's hating, that is evil. That's it. Like, it's evil. And do we actually need to fight more than that? Like, one, we don't need to fight on it, but do we need to actually eradicate anything more than the evil in the world? And so as we look at this conversation of Nolan Wells and all the things going on, I guess we'll start off with, what do we know about Nolan Wells? Like, anyone? For me, I first came about where it was like, dang, there's a kid that died on an island and pretty much a good scapegoat to hide under was an island of rednecks. Let's hide him on the island of rednecks where you can lose the actual of what happened. And then only to find out that the evil that happened was the 3 boys at the house, at the pool party, after going to the island of rednecks, killed this black kid. And the mom, who's a judge, changes the dialogue and shifts it to try to hide it, even going out with the other families for dinner. Only for their friends to get enough pressure and enough of God on their hearts that said, nah, you got to, when they started sharing Nolan's pictures of who he was as a kid, kind person, loving, teammate, all the different things. And then all of a sudden, the ones that felt guilty had to come forward. And now it's coming forward in such a way that people are leaning in to help to make sure this one doesn't just get swept under the rug, because it was getting that way. And I look at this and say, okay, why would I even want to bring this forward? Because it's time. Like, if we don't have real conversations about real things happening, we will continue to have things happening because we have not yet got to the truth, and the truth will set you free. We haven't yet got to the truth of slavery. We haven't yet got to the truth of lynching. We haven't yet got to the truth, to the truth, to the truth. And until we do that, we will all races, all people, all things, until we get to the truth of the matter, we will all be encaged of that lie. And so I just wanted to start this conversation with some people that know how to listen. And thank you all for listening. And thank you for being the people you are in your life, the people that you've been in my life. I've met everyone, well, not everyone, but I've met a lot of people that come through here in person. And I trust you. Not because we agree on everything. I mean, Tony would probably laugh if he said, yeah, if I said we agree on everything, he'd be like, nah, we've gone in different ways. And yet we actually find common ground. and how to navigate the conversations and to really speak to what's happening and then move forward. And that's what I hope we can model for everybody else that gets an opportunity to see this, that they learn how to speak to the truth and just choose good over evil. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Anybody else want to jump in? Go for it.
I'll just jump in on that sentiment because I think it's important to have the difficult conversations, and a lot of people avoid difficult conversations so as to not be judged, not be questioned, not be pressured. So they'd rather it's taboo. You don't talk about it. But when you don't talk about it, the only ones who do are the loud idiots on the extremes of both sides of the argument, which is what we're seeing with all of this. It's ridiculous that people are attacking this family after having lost that child. Just like it's ridiculous what happened with Carmelo Anthony. The same thing. There were extremists on both sides, stoking the fires of racism on both sides and stoking the anger, as opposed to it's a child that lost their life. There was someone that was guilty that needs to pay the price for that, right? And the fact that people are attacking the families of the victim is abhorrent. The fact that Carmelo, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank right now on his name because it's already past the news cycle, unfortunately. The victim of Carmelo Anthony, so bad that I'm forgetting the name. The fact that people are going and urinating on his grave is atrocious. The fact that they're now saying that these white kids should get away with it, the black kids should get away with it because this one did this and this. It's bullshit. Bottom line, it's like this. We need to hold people to a higher standard. We need to hold people accountable. We need to enforce our laws. If you do bad, I don't care what color your skin is. You pay the price, right? And what we need to do is we need to start, I don't know, it's maybe pulling the mic away from the extremists, because it's the extremists on both sides, guys. Look, bottom line, the left wing and the right wing are the two wings on the same damn bird. But remembering that it's the least amount of the bird is the wings. The body is where we all are. We're not red. We're not white. Most of us are purple. But because the division is so important to those who would want to divide us, because a country divided is easy to conquer. A country united, a people united, it's hard to defeat. So it's about dividing us, whether if it's not by color, it's by sexual orientation, it's by money, it's by class, it's by religion, whatever it is, the more divisive it is. So it's important for us to have these conversations so we can have these honest, uncomfortable conversations so we can get to the semblance of the truth and put this conversation out there. People often ask, well, Tony, what are you doing about it? You're just talking. Well, guess what? At least speaking about it, raising the awareness of the problems that we're dealing with is something. Because there's so many people that just have their eyes closed and they have no idea what's going on because they live in their little bubble. And we got to pop that bubble and let everybody in and let everybody out and have these honest conversations, because at the end of the day, we're all just humans. There is no black race, white race. We're the human race. And we really need to focus on that.
I'll come right to you here, Kevin. I just want to say, here's part of the problem, though. As instantly it goes back to red and blue, and it's like, nah, that ain't it. That's the hiding. That's the hiding I'm talking about. Going back to politics on every subject. If they are the problem, which I'm not going to say they aren't. If they are the problem, get rid of them. All of them. If they are the problem, get rid of them. Start over. Do whatever we need to do. Find a solution. Stop going back to the problem. Kevin, go for it.
No, I was going to say, Tony, you spoke very eloquently. And when you talk about the problem, the problem is there's always been a system that has supported this problem. My grandfather used to say, education is not designed to make you comfortable. That's the reason why we're having these conversations, because it's designed to make you think. When you look back in 2026, how many lynchings that were not reported in the United States alone is 70. How many convictions? 0. Is when you attack a class of people that the rest of the world writes off, that says that you really don't matter. um, that you don't exist, that you are toxic to the world that this 1% represents, then they create a system in order to use, abuse, and then at some point eliminate. I mean, it was at one point when Abraham Lincoln wanted to, what was it, free the slaves. There was a petition going back to send them back to Africa. And then people realized that Black Americans, if we were called Black Americans back then, were an asset, who was going to do this, who was going to do their fields and so forth. It's a system that's in play that protects this type of mentality, is because if there's no accountability, then the problem doesn't exist. That's the reason why, every single day we wake up to the news and someone lies to us. And if there's enough people that supports the lie becomes the truth. And then the people that have the numbers, we remain silent. Okay, we want to do something, but we don't know what to do. But I will tell you, for 48 hours, if everyone spoke up against what is going on, this tyranny that's going on, everyone lined up in droves in order to find out what the truth is how do you do an autopsy on a young man and he's got body parts missing? That's called misplaced of evidence. All right. It's a crime. And then you have people that are in power in a system that says we will look into it. But ask it yourself. If it's not their child, they really don't care. We've had 3 attempts to assassinate a president. Ask JFK Jr., any of those people, did they get 3 chances in order to take a shot at them? They no longer exist. So we know that we're all being played in a system. So it is not good or evil. Is that we left the barn doors open for people not to be accountable for their actions. If we had a system that was just instead of just us, a lot of these choices wouldn't be made. But when just because the color of your skin or who you're related to or who you have, you're going to get off, and whenever you take those risks. You ask any man that's happily married to his wife that has a home and built on it, if he were to be tempted by someone else, a man that has a strong foundation where he lives does not take a brick away from that foundation. He does not take away that risk. But a man that knows that he can walk in broad daylight and walk down Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue and shoot you and get away with it, and he tells you he's going to do it, and then he shows you that he's going to do it, it tells you there's a system in play that is dividing what I can do because of who I am and what I have and who I'm related to.
Give me 1 second, Kevin. I just got to let Doc know. Hey, man, check the chat. Get rid of this guy and never let him back. Go ahead. Excuse me.
All right. And then the other thing is, you put a person in power that should not be in power. If that had been any of us on this platform that have been accused of any of the crimes he had been accused of, none of us will be on air right now. We'll be broadcasting from behind bars, awaiting a trial for a system that will put us away for the rest of your life. But because the system is in his favor, it's like a blackjack dealer selecting the cards he wants you to play instead of randomly allowing you to play the hand that's been dealt to you. So it's all about accountability and adjusting the system. And if we got rid of all the grandfathers that had went from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party back in the 60s and wanted everything to be the way it was in the good old days when America was great by their Americas, we wouldn't be in this system right now.
Doc or Coach, what you got?
Man, Kevin, I would say well put. And
Doc can't hear you. I think that's what that face is.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're a little far away from your mic, perhaps.
Okay, my bad. Great point, Kevin, man. You hit on a lot of key points, and this goes back to brotherhood. Brotherhood is not proven when everything is comfortable, but it's proven when something goes wrong. And as a retired Army leader, accountability and what Kevin spoke about is really deeply embedded in how we think in the military. We account for our people. And we know who departed, we know who arrived, we know who their family is, we know who needs assistance. Now, that does not mean every, civilian gathering operates like a military formation, but it does mean people travel together. We go to remote locations, and there's a shared responsibility to ensure that everyone has a safe way home. So brotherhood is more than just laughing, traveling together, and taking pictures. In this instance, in respect to the Nolan Wells family, it had to be some trust for him to even go and be amongst these people that he called friends, which is a form of brotherhood. For this to happen, it shouldn't have happened. And as Kevin put it, it's a lot of systematic things that's not right. We talk about personal transformation. We really need to do a system transformation, because the system does not always work, and it kind of varies to how it works. So I would go another step further and ask, how would this would have been if the roles was reversed, considering we know the historical content of the state of Mississippi as well as those counties?
Amen.
If it had been a reverse, it would have been another Black Wall Street. They had to burn down everything.
Well, hold on. I mean, if we're going to talk about that, remember that there's riots over any crime that's committed against blacks, and when it's the other way around, there's really not much that's said. But and the thing that I think we need to kind of point this out, and I'm going to point this out. It's uncomfortable, you guys might not agree with me, but the reality of it is, we have a crime problem. We have a culture problem. The reality of it is, there is much more black on black crime by God knows, by multiples in the black community, black on black crime, that doesn't go reported, that doesn't come on the news. There's a woman that just killed her baby and then
Right, so wait a minute. Now, so you're going to tell me you're the guy that knows what doesn't go reported, doesn't make the news, but because you live in the black on black crime neighborhood?
No,
how do you know? Who told you that it's happening? So you're saying that you know something. I'm calling BS. You're saying you know something, but you haven't ever seen it. So now you're saying you know something and you've not seen it. It's like the liars that have been saying Santa Claus forever and ain't ever seen Santa. That's you.
Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. They're FBI.
Come on, man.
Statistics. They're statistics.
Sid, and believe it or not, if you want to question his facts, you go up and pick 8 crimes that's being done. And you look at the fact that out of 8 of those crimes that are being done, you talk about black on white. You talk about rape, whites own that. You talk about murder, white owns that. You talk about financial crime, white owns that. I can go for the list on down. So when you talk about blacks on black crime or whatever, all right, you got to look at the statistics. It's the same way with the welfare system. You says, the welfare system is only applied to blacks. It was created for white people.
We all know that's not true.
Yeah, but I'm saying the facts of what you're saying right now with blacks on black crime is that no one's keeping statistics on white crime. There's more white on white crime than it is in blacks.
Interesting.
You're in double digits. You can Google if you like.
Oh no, 100%. But I've recently sent some of this stuff to Sid. One of the things that's being discovered now as well, when you look on, the white crime is up, you go look and their names are Muslim names, they're Hispanic, there's from everywhere. They're not white, but they're listed on their arrest records as white. Unfortunately, it's almost like, the voting. It's not who votes for what or who gets the most votes. It's who's counting the votes, unfortunately, is what it is. Just like who's writing those reports. When you see someone that's clearly Middle Eastern with a name like Abdul something or other, and they're clearly not white, hold on, they're clearly not white, but they're listed as white. And whether they're Hispanics, they're listed as white. Sid, I know I sent you that video, and I can send it to you again. I'll look it up and send it to you.
I can almost guarantee you, Tony, that if you and I were arrested and we both had an ounce of cocaine in our pocket, you would be on the streets tomorrow while I will be waiting to be transported to.
Brother, I'm not sure. First of all, my last name is Rodriguez.
You're not sure.
But
you're not sure because you don't know.
Hold on, my last name is Rodriguez, so that I already got that one against me. Number one, and number two, these days it's almost like if you're.
All right, let's change your name to Smith.
But the point is, these days, it seems like the people that are getting that the system is lenient to right now,
Shit, I know you ain't about to let that come out.
We're not starting a bigger fire.
Who's it lenient to?
All right,
What's
wait,
that?
You got these three white kids. Who's it lenient to?
Sid, let him talk.
Listen,
Let
they
him
should
talk.
all get strung up. 100% of them. If they did it, if they're guilty, they should all pay. Honestly, my opinion, they should pay the
But you
ultimate.
just made a statement. The system is lenient to, and those three kids that this is about today,
Agreed.
Nolan
Agreed.
Wells, those three kids, it ain't lenient like that if the
They
roles
should go
were
to prison.
reversed.
They should go to prison for the rest of their life or worse.
But it's not. But the truth is, of what you're saying, you're not speaking to the truth. These three kids got extra time home. I don't care if they get another day or not. They got extra time that if it's
Hold on. Remember,
three black kids and a white kid, they ain't getting extra time. They ain't getting extra time.
Yeah, listen, you can't look at it. The same thing was happening with Carmelo, and the hypocrisy and the
And he didn't get extra time. He didn't get extra time, bro. He didn't get extra time. He's locked up already.
Sid,
But
he
he
didn't get
wasn't
extra
for a
time.
year. He wasn't.
the reason
wasn't
why
for a year.
we are in the position that we're in as a people is because as uncomfortable as the conversation is, everyone should be heard. The only way that we can educate people, if that one, you can make a statement, all right. You don't, and if you can defend the statements, stated on facts, the facts don't lie. The other thing is too, when you make a statement such as a statement that's just made, instead of us arguing over it, let's sit back and says, look, let me show you the facts. Let me show you the statistics, because that's why I said education. Okay,
Well, but
makes you think.
I hear you. Hold on 1 second. I hear you, and I know Tony. He says he knows, but he doesn't know. And that's what I'm getting at. Like, we can't just let somebody spew their stuff. Just like this, somebody sent me a video of thousands of people raped by black men and 0 white guys on black women. Ain't true. We can't just let people throw out these untruths when they are just their tunnel vision that ain't speaking on truth. Tony ain't, I don't know, maybe he has once or twice, but how many times has Tony been to the hood and seen black on white crime?
I grew up in Newark. So I grew up in, I grew up in the.
Okay, but how long ago were you there?
25, 30 years ago. I'm still there. I'm there.
That's a long time. That's a long time. We're talking about Nolan Wells that happened. We're talking about Nolan Wells that happened a few days ago.
I'm still in
and you're
Newark
talking 25 years.
I'm in Newark 4 days a week. Right. And I work in the community, and I work with low income.
Now you're going to change the
low income housing, and I'm helping people get housing through the programs and everything else. I'm there now. So
then we got to get to the facts, and we got to be able to keep the facts. You know how it is. You tell one lie, you got to keep telling lies. So I know this because I used to lie as a kid to protect my ass. And so I know how that really works. When someone tells the truth will stand all the time, no matter what anybody else says, and they never need to change it because it's just the truth. But some reason, and so I can't sit here and just say, all right, I'm just going to let it fly because Tony says he knows it, but he doesn't know it. Like, we got to actually get real on that. I'm okay with looking at.
We only know what we're told and what's shared with us. Like I said, going back to the reports that are coming out, that are getting exposed in multiple states, including New Jersey, which is the last report that I saw, that there are thousands upon thousands of criminals in prison right now that are stated as white, and they are the last damn thing. Not even the name, not the color, not the complexion. Nothing. They are not white. So the numbers are skewed. The facts that we believe are facts are being reported and being taken down is not accurate.
The nice thing about facts is that, they've created a system called AI, and you can almost go to AI right now and chat GTP and ask this question, and it will give you the answer. It will tell you.
Actually, I think I had this conversation with you a couple of weeks ago. Said I've been fighting with my AI because I've got to ask it 3-4 times to get to an answer that makes sense, because you ask it a question and it's going to give you the mainstream news answer. So you have to put in Steelman, like Steelman.
Well, it depends on how you prompt it.
You've got to put all these prompts in to get it to tell you the truth. Otherwise, it's going to give you the same whitewashed bullshit that you're seeing on TV.
Go to AI and ask, are there more white homicides than black homicides in America? And give me the statistical numbers. And just that, it depends on how you prompt and ask the question.
All right, I'm going to ask it. And then while we wait on that, Doc, go for it.
Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here because I know our time is fleeting fast. I just want to share some things about, first of all, Sid, condolences to your former coach and his family. Second, I want to say condolences to Nolan Wells and his family. Third, I want to give condolences to any family that has been put through this ungodliness. Let me put it that way. Because there are more Nolans past, present, and unfortunately future. So I'm going to go a little bit, forgive me, about 45 seconds. This isn't about what happened to Nolan. It's about how a community, a justice system, some people would say an injustice system, that's another conversation, and a media ecosystem respond when an 18-year-old black athlete dies under unclear circumstances. This is, I guess, the third part of our good versus evil. Bring in the perspective, the good versus evil here is truth versus cover up, accountability versus apathy, and coverage versus silence in families, institutions, and in each one of us. And the stakes are real here. Trust in law enforcement, racial dynamics, youth safety, and how online narratives shape real-world conversations. And just to add on my last part about good versus evil, the good is families demanding truth, investigations doing meticulous work, and community members refusing to let a young man become a footnote. The evil, rush conclusions, dehumanizing narratives, and systems, as Kevin mentioned. We're talking about systems here that treat some deaths as, quote, case closed, unquote, faster than others. I'm complete.
All right. I said I got to run. I got 10 minutes to get to a 2:00 appointment, but I want to thank you guys for sharing this. And like I said, the easiest way is what Doc says. Pull up the facts and then have your opinion based on that. Go ahead.
Got it. So here, I'll give you, this is just a brief. I'm not going to get into the details of it because this is total numbers or age per capita that can change, but homicide total numbers. According to the FBI's latest expanded homicide data in 2024, black victims, 51.6% of homicide victims. White victims were 42.8%. Other races were 2.9%. For offenders, black offenders, 56.4%. White offenders, 40.8%. Other races, 2.7%. There were more black homicide victims than white victims. There were more black known homicide offenders than white homicide offenders. So again, I don't know. It doesn't. I'd have to drill down.
Let me give you this.
That's a great.
Let me give you
wait a minute, Sid. That's a great fact, and that is factual information. And you know why that number is higher? It is because the conviction rate of blacks are higher than whites. Simple as that. That's
also a percentage of the crime. But then if you got to take into consideration, there's 14% black community, about 75% is a white community. So the per capita also changes as well.
Again, all right, but I got it with that included.
Yeah, the big question.
Here we go.
Conversation.
Black victims are 85 to 90% are killed by black offenders. White victims, 80 to 85 are killed by white offenders. Black victims killed by white offenders are relatively small percentage, often around 8 to 12. White victims killed by black offenders, also relatively small percentage, between 10 and 15, which is higher than the other. So those are the facts. And
so
if we were to rewind this, hold up, Tony. If we were to rewind this, those aren't the statements.
But the thing that I said is that there's more murder within and crime black on black than there is white on black or black on white, is what I had said originally. Right? So the numbers you're telling me kind of don't dispute that. Even though we didn't get to all of them.
Conviction rate and then longer prison sentences leans towards a black individual for the same crime as a white. All right.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
All right.
Because I'm sitting here.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, we'll see you next week if you can come.
I
Good to meet
Um,
you, Kevin. This needs to be a more comprehensive ask and search to narrow down these numbers, because you can ask again. There's
yes,
bias.
but here's the
gotta
thing,
drill down.
Tony. You aren't searching. You're not
Actually-
searching. You're actually making these
No,
statements, and you
hold
do
on,
it all
no,
the time. So that's why I'm laughing.
No, hold on. You know how I said I've been arguing with ChatGPT? What I see is if I see an article or a headline, whatever, I run it through ChatGPT and I go truth and I go Steelman. And I said,
Maybe
me
you
this,
on those
don't
articles,
give me
but on
fluff.
this
And then
right
they'll
here,
do-
right now, you did
and then it
not
breaks
do
it
that,
down.
and you said, "This
All
is
right,
what I
fine.
see," and that's so. When those things are happening in real time, it's actually leading people down a wrong hole, and I think that's criminal. That anybody as smart as you are should do their due diligence. You did not send me this, but anybody as smart as you are, because I consider this person right on that line, don't send me a video that says 0 people, blacks, women raped by white men when it ain't true. No matter, and I can say that knowing that I know personally black women raped by white men. So it's not true. And they've actually been reported. So it's not true. And I've actually seen them go to jail. So it's not true. And so when these lies, and you can start at the top in this country with the lies. And because those lies are told, we're actually seeing people that actually are educated fighting over things that ain't true.
All right, so I'll give you here about 88 to 90% of black homicides are killed by black offenders.
I said that.
But this is what I'm talking about, where it's
and then it's 80 to 85% of white offenders are white people that are offended by white offenders.
Hold on, 16,000
and a higher per capita,
right?
So knowing that I took statistics and have a minor in that, that's not true what you're saying.
I'll tell you what, dig deeper on that and we'll have a conversation.
But what you're saying is not true, Tony, and I know you don't like to listen, but I'm telling you, it's 85 to 90% black offenders on black, 80 to 85 white on white. There are more white people, there are more problems. So the fact that people are actually trying to get people to believe that is a lie. And that's not okay. Don't bring the lies. I get that statistics can be bent for anybody to prove their point, but the facts are the facts. And you're bringing something that ain't true. Like there's no, basically it's the same. We got evil people, black and white, killing evil people, black and white.
And we agree.
So to actually say that it's something else is actually hiding, like the devil, hiding the truth.
Dude, I started with that conversation by saying, regardless of your color, if you if you kill someone, you should be in prison for the rest of your life, especially if it was malicious. If it was an accident, it's an accident.
You did say it, and then you brought the other stuff forward.
I don't care what color you are, and I don't care what color your victim was. It doesn't matter.
Just live in that. Because when you say this other stuff.
One thing about it, Tony, and let me get in here. I agree with you. We have to have these conversations. But let me also say, man, we do not have to manufacture a racial conclusion to acknowledge what we are. This is usually what happened. We started off on Nolan Wells, and now we pivoted and talking about black on black crime. And both of you guys are very intelligent, and you know you can lie with stats. Matter of fact, Daryl Huff had wrote a book back in 1954 on how to lie with stats. Nevertheless, when you're in the environment and you see the report, because all this reporting does not always be accurate. So you can lie with the numbers, but let's just talk about the people that lives in the community where you say it's black on black crime. I grew up in those communities. First 18 years of my life, I grew up in those communities. Times that sometimes you couldn't even get a police to come out there, and they did come out there. The same person that murdered people will be back on the streets. So the reporting is not always right. The systematic structure that we have is not right. But based off what we know and based off things we have experienced, we should be able to have these conversations, but we shouldn't have to be able to pivot and talk about black on black crime. Let's talk about what's happening right before our eyes instead of pivoting. We know for sure Nolan left on July 4th with a group of friends to Horn Island. And we know he did not come back with them. And this is fathers, parents, and kids. Morally, you have a responsibility, and ethically, to tell the truth. So those boys, anybody's out there listening that's out there that knows what happens, this is where fortitude comes in that. This is when you got to stand on your square, whether it's right or wrong, but speak truth. The parents should not have to even be suffering with these questions, considering they lost a son. Potentially was murdered. Can't say that, but based off the evidence, is looking very sketchy that something happened. Nevertheless, they took him out, and no one has no accountability to what happened to this young man.
Well, he's dead, and it was a natural causes, so we know that he was murdered, right? So somebody's got to be held accountable to that. And if the investigators aren't doing their job to investigate them, then remove the investigators. We need to hold people accountable for their actions, hold people responsible for their actions, their words, their deeds, and everything else. This is something I keep talking about. And doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what you believe in, what you look like. We need accountability and personal responsibility back in our society. And that's going away.
Here's the thing. We can't, when, just like Coach talked about, we can't, when every person gets a sensitive freaking thing that hits them for whatever reason, when it hits them, and then all of a sudden they can't let it be about the subject at hand. And then those that are evil and doing these acts, they can hide because, hey, it's a statistical problem. No, it ain't a statistical problem. You 3 kids that did what you did, and you judge that hid the facts, and everybody else involved needs to go down. I don't care what happened 30 years ago or any of that. It's called, here they are. Don't try to hide behind it's black on. No, this is straight up. It's white on black. Don't try to act like that's not it, because that is it. 3 white kids on a black kid. I don't care. It's 3 kids on a kid, but it's 3 white kids on a black kid. And you can't change that. No matter how many times it's been different or who, suck it up. It ain't your freaking problem. If you're making it your problem, you've probably been doing something that you don't like to look at. And that's okay too. Maybe we need to start researching the people that can't handle it's 3 black kids, 3 white kids on a black kid. End of story. Now let's go get them. Let's go figure it out and bring it to justice. And if we don't do that, we will continue to have evil hiding behind all of it, because people aren't willing to look in the mirror of why it's there. Look at some of it, and I can see it. I've seen it, and I can say it because I've done research on my own family. So I know that some of it is people can't handle the fact that their parents that may still be alive were part of that stuff back in the day. Can't handle it. What did you do? Like, why can't you handle it? Start looking at that for real. I can have these conversations. I can get heated and be like, all right, Liz, let's go hang out. Let's go do whatever, because it ain't me. I'm not defending me. So I'm not worried about it. Like most people, they defend what hits at home. If it don't hit at home, they actually usually are pretty clean about it. I've watched it in so many people. And it's time. It's just time for people to have to hold themselves accountable for the actions they do. For real. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's black on black, white on white, if it's any other color on any other color. That doesn't matter. If we have a law and it's a real deal, then, hey, you did the crime, do the time. And if time means that you go home and start over, oh, so be it. If that's the law. That's just where I'm at. Y'all can close it up, give it 30 seconds, whatever you got, and then we're gonna bounce this.
I'll go really, really quick because I know we're right on the limited time here. When we move from outrage to action, that's when good versus evil stops being a title and starts being a choice we make every day. I'm complete.
Well, I'll go real quick, and I'll say that when we start coming together as a society and put values, family values, we bring godliness back, regardless of what you believe and who you pray to, when you bring respect back, these things, and start holding people accountable for doing what they're doing, because there's crimes that you never hear about on TV because they don't fit the narrative, because they don't stir up emotions, so they go away. We need to be harder on crime, not softer. We need to bring back mental asylums, because there's a lot of people out there that really shouldn't be among society. And until we start doing that and holding people accountable, holding judges accountable, holding politicians accountable, holding the media accountable for the lies and the misinformation, until that starts to happen, we've got a problem. But it starts with having these conversations, the uncomfortable conversations that we don't want to have. Today's conversation was uncomfortable. I know it. And I'm sure that people are going to give me shit for it, and who's commenting and whatever. But you know what? I don't really care, because, you said something before, Sid, about truth. I don't really tell a lie, because my memory, doesn't allow for that, even if I wanted to. So I'm going to tell you what I believe is true. And if somebody calls me on it 3-4 years from now, and I don't remember saying, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like something I would say, because it's true, or whatever it is. So if I'm going to tell you something and I'm wrong, you can believe that I believe it. So that's it. Just personal responsibility, accountability, and bring a little more godliness into your life, and love your neighbor. That's it.
Coach, go for it.
Hey, every day.
We got to get your mic fixed, but go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna run the update. Every day is a new day for a new opportunity to become greater than you were yesterday. Don't just be inspired by this conversation that we had today and be inactive. Be active. Make your voice be heard. I'm complete.
All right. Thank you, fellas. Keep the peace. Look forward to next week. Peace.
I've been at peace for so long. It seems like I've been sitting all alone. Would you know when the crew is coming through? They're the ones that will make anew. Gotta go, gotta flow, gotta choose the truth. We the ones that will raise the roof. Let's roll up and throw down. Let's go and feel the sound. Good vibes, one try. Can you feel me now? Be you, be me, be free. Go and take it till we bounce the beat. Take it to the streets, make a move the feet. I can slow it down, look in my eyes now. Just like you two want it fast. Spread them wings and make it last. God was the one to erase the past. Time to bring it forward and see the forecast. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Lift your dreams and fill the glass. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Lift your dreams and fill the glass. That was God's broadcast. That was God's broadcast. Time to embrace the peace. Time to embrace the peace.